Hello again, my friends. So today I decided to have a little bit of a story time. I don't know, just like a serious talk. I don't know, maybe, I don't think it's either of those things. But basically, if you know me personally, or if you know me through this internet, you may have noticed I am a vegetarian. And I just wanted to say why, because it's actually a really interesting story, because I'm not like one of those people who get angry at other people for eating meat. I don't know, it's a really personal thing, and where else do you put personal things but upon the internet? So, basically, I've only been a vegetarian for about 3 weeks now. No, I've been self-identifying as a vegetarian despite the fact that I've been eating meat previously for about like 2 years, which I guess makes me not a vegetarian, but there is a strong reason behind that, and I'll get into it in a second, don't you worry. But yeah, so my main rule is I don't buy meat. But for instance, a couple of months ago, my friend had a birthday party, and he had a big dinner, and he's Filipino, and his mum came in and made a whole bunch of like Filipino food, which of course none of it's vegetarian, and it was really nice to eat. Like there was a bug that flew, but it was like really yummy. Because I didn't want to just not eat. It was their birthday, and his mum spent all this time and effort making the food for me, and I think that's really important. Like if people spend time and effort and they put love into the food, then I'm gonna eat it. I'm not gonna turn it down and go, oh, sorry. So in that case, I have eaten meat, but then again, the next day, I woke up and I was crying because I was mourning the loss of all of the meat, and it was just a lot. It was a lot to me. Funnily enough, that was actually the same day that my pet rat got put down that I ate the meat, so I was very emotional, and yeah, the next day I was just crying because I felt so bad. So yeah, so there's that. So basically my story is that when I was little, I think I was in about grade 3, we had these pet chickens, and like, I don't know, there's like a couple of stages that got me onto this. So the first one is this, we had these pet chickens and they're in our backyard, and then we were eating like chicken for dinner, and then from that point on, every time I looked at meat, I found it really, really hard not to just identify the part of the muscle that it is with where it is in the animal. And like, a lot of like people know that that's where it comes from, but to me that was it's just a lot. It's a lot to think about, because then it thinks about my own death and life and death in general, and then I think about the life of where they lived and all that. Like, I don't know, I don't really want an existential crisis every time I sit down to have a meal. Like, that's not what I need today. No, thank you. So yeah, so that started happening, but the thing is because I was in grade 3, so I was about 8 or 9 years old. Like, I can't bring that up with my family, because of course they're making my food and they put it down on the plate, and it's normal custom to eat meat. And so I put it in the back of my mind, and I didn't think about it for a while. Then comes a couple of years later, I think I was about 12, I was out having dinner with my friend and her family, and my friend goes to the bathroom, and she has 2 prawns sitting on that plate. And that entire time, I was just like staring into the black soulless eyes of these prawns. And bing bam boom, prawns are really hard for me to eat now. Yeah, I think I just stared at this prawn for too long, and then I thought too much about the prawn's life and what happened to it and how it died. And like, I know that in the wild, animals eat other animals. That's totally fine. But I also know that in human society, we don't need to. And also, in the wild, animals eat other animals to keep their populations down. And it's actually like a really big ecological perfect impact. For instance, sometimes deers, they'll overrun and then they'll put in like, I think wolves or predator of deers. And it actually, like, it helps everything stay sustained, nothing gets too big. Like, but humans, we breed things so that we eat them. And so we're not actually giving that purpose. We're not helping. Like, I'm fine with people hunting their own food. But yeah, but we're breeding. Anyway, that was a sidetrack. So I stayed at a prawn for too long and decided, that's kind of gross. And yeah, and then I think there was another time where I watched a documentary about octopuses and how they put the little shell over their head to hide getting caught, and then the smart animals like that, which is really painful for me because I really enjoyed eating octopus. Like, here's the thing though, like back in my meat eating days, like favorite things were like octopus and like pork ribs slow cooked and like lamb on the leg. Like, all of these things are quite, like, if anyone says, but meat is delicious, I am not complaining. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying it gives me some psychological trauma, friend. Like, I would eat the lamb on the leg and go, this is the best thing ever. And then I would, like, go and feel really emotionally bad. And I don't know, for my own mental health, I feel like not doing that is probably the best, because you got to remember that mental health and physical health are both important, and you can have a very physically healthy relationship with food as a vegetarian and a vegan. And praise the vegans, because they know what they're doing. I don't. But then, so as I was living with my parents, like, I think in my mind decided meat was weird, at least by the age of 12. I continued to eat meat unquestioned until about the age of 16, 17. Then I decided maybe I should cut back on this, but also it's always in the fridge and my parents would make it for dinner, and it's just that easy to make a salami sandwich, which I lived off for a while because it was nice and easy and, easy to do. But then finally I moved out. One of my main reasons why I wanted to move out was so that I could be in control of my own food. And I moved out and I could do my own shopping. And I could save money by not buying meat and instead buying lentils and then throwing a bunch of spices in it. And and I can just eat things and be happy and as healthy as anyone would be. Because I mean, when you're, I don't know, people say, oh, don't go vegetarian or don't go vegan because it's unhealthy, and then they're eating like piles of bacon for breakfast and going out and getting Macca's chips. So like, it's not less healthy, that it's just a normal lifestyle. And it's been great because I've been saving so much money because meat is so expensive. Unless you buy like pretend meat, that's also expensive, but I don't do that. And then I've been eating like fresh food, I've been getting into cooking. I used to not be able to cook at all when I was at home because I didn't have any power over what I was doing, but now I've learnt to like cook food that I enjoy and I can eat and I think it's great. And I'm happy to share to people, like my pizza recipe, like I always bring that out and people always love that. And it's just vegetarian. It's one step away from being vegan. Get vegan cheese, bam, it's vegan. Done. So there's that. There is one downside to being a vegetarian, and it is I am so sick of going to pubs and only getting like gnocchi or risotto, and then you go to like a place and it's just like, basically there's like two things on the menu, and then I feel really bad for the vegans because like I'm like, what are you gonna eat? I once left a cafe because they had nothing for me to eat, and which is really sad because it's not that hard to make vegetarian food. It's not that hard to make tasty vegetarian food. So yeah, so call out to anyone who has restaurants, get yourself a damn good vegetarian menu, because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these lazy, non-vegetarian, non-vegan menus. Just learn to cook something. It's fine. Trust me, you won't lose money for it as long as you make it good. And yeah, that's the other thing is like the vegetarian food. Like you go out and then they'll have vegetarian food and it's like they put no effort into it. I'm like, come on. Like, it's exciting. Make vegetarian food exciting again. So good. Anyway, that's my... it was meant to be a story, but turned into a rant, so that's always fun. Bye, friends. Love you. That was weird. Bye.